You are listening to 808 and Heartbreak on High Score 510.
Everybody has baggage, though.
I know everybody got baggage, but the baggage they got is not baggage I'm trying to unpack.
Come on.
That's the thing. If you got, I don't mind certain baggage, but there's certain people I would.
I'm trying to unpack
everybody's baggage, man. Look. A couple of them Kardashians gave me a shot at it. I'll be right there. But the difference is I wouldn't be trying to wife them up. I'll be acting like I'm trying to wife them up.
So I said there might be.
I'm gonna be in there lying. I'm gonna be in there lying. You know I'm in love.
Amber Rose, she's probably
Amber Rose.
What you want to tell Amber Rose? I forgot what you.
So Amber Rose has done it again. Oops, I did it again. Well, it wasn't really. It's two parts to the story. So, but she is now dated and broken up with another man. She was dating the Denver Nuggets, Monty Morris. Apparently, he broke up with her. Because he wanted to be able to focus more on his career and playing basketball. He didn't want to be associated by being the dude that is Amber Rose's boyfriend necessarily, but he wants to make his own name and be like Monty Morris. For this article,
no name basketball.
For this article, I ain't never heard of it. I was like, man, you know you just made your name off her by saying by breaking up with her. That's how you made your name, bro. I'm just gonna put that out there. But anyway, so yeah, and she is apparently. She's what you would call.
She's single again.
No, I think she actually was seen, getting comfy with somebody else.
Good Lord, she's already that soon?
Dude, she reminds me of somebody we all know. One of Brandon's good friends.
Life is short, y'all. You mean?
Yep, she's out with the new boyfriend. You're right.
He's like executive for Def Jam or one of those.
He got a tattoo on his face, so he ain't executive for someplace really.
It's actually a pretty big place though.
That's hilarious. Anyway, I'm not gonna fault Amber Rose for out there exploring her options.
Man, she was from Pennsylvania. Who said she was from Cape Verdean or something?
Just because that's where she was born. I know some Africans that were born in Oakland, man. Like,
yeah, she's from Pennsylvania. She's probably Quaker. She's
out there living her life, man. Living the best life.
Hey, shout out to Harold. He's living the best life too, man. Harold was good at it too. Harold was
a serial dater. And
that's what Amber Rose is. She's a serial monogamist. I'm not hating on her. I just think it's funny because that's the only thing that I hear about her. I know she does other stuff.
Always dating with other people. But she does slut walk?
She does a slut walk. They did it last week actually. Mm-hmm. They said it was.
She had some women out there that aren't sluts and they were butt naked. And I give them all the power for being naked. I'm sure some guy would really love to be out there. Mm-hmm. If you want to have the slut walk, you can always come out to the Grayson District in Oxford and have the walk. So, might as well. I mean, why be selfish and keep it in L.A.? There's a lot of other places. There's a lot more sluts out there, Amber, that need to walk.
It's gonna be like
I'll get out there and walk with you too.
Why isn't there a pimp walk?
No, I don't need a pimp walk. I need a slut walk.
It's only fair if there's a pimp walk, though. Now, isn't there? All right.
That's hilarious.
Don't call me equality unless you're willing to do equality.
I think it's very interesting with Amber Rose because she's, she calls herself a feminist. She is a feminist. I would declare her that too. And she, she's put on the slut walk as a woman's pride thing, in a slut walk festival she hosts. But I think it's pretty crazy because she's a feminist, but yet she's a serial dater, and she serially dates men who you would not call feminist supporters. From Kanye to who was the other rapper she dated? To let me tell you,
Wiz Khalifa. She was married. They were married.
Yeah, it had a kid, and definitely not a feminist supporter. Here's another thing: someone's not a feminist supporter. We know Kanye now. Here's another person. Anybody you dating that got a facial tattoo, guaranteed they not a feminist supporter either. So I mean, I think and people we're gray. Everyone's gray too. No one's black and white, right? Mm-hmm. Nobody is this. We all have our own demons and things we battle and issues, but that's just an interesting one. And Amber Rose is interesting.
Well, yeah, no, I dated a girl who was a feminist for a while. She like did the women and gender studies stuff, and that stuff was interesting because it opened up a new world of like understanding, you know, kind of the dynamics of how we're socialized to perceive race and gender, how we're kind of socialized to perceive race and gender and the expected dynamics. And so it was eye-opening, but one thing that was really interesting that we discussed and that she brought up to me was like how a lot of what is considered feminist and women empowerment is still just the reversal of a role of a still male-centered model, if that makes sense. And how like the idea of what if a man is doing it, then a woman can do it, but then again it's like you're still redefining yourself through the man's template or system and schematic ways of what is expected or thought to be, you know, appropriate or desirable. And so that was interesting. It's something I always think about. I'm like, maybe she is dating to be empower herself as a woman. The slut walk, the idea of like she can date who she wants when she wants. She's not restricted to just always fall in love and want to be with somebody. But then again, like how much do a lot of these tendencies play into like what the same thing is what men are doing? So I always just find it interesting. I don't know. There's more to it. It could be discussed further, but that's always something that's really interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say that it defines who you date. Does not definitely define you, but when it's a pattern, you know, I always say this. You have this vision for what you want your life to be or who you want to be in life. Your goals should match that vision. And if your goal is to date like these celebrities or rappers who are definitely like not pro-feminist, then it doesn't line up with what your vision is. So it's like, well, it's almost like it's like walking backwards.
Well, yeah,
she didn't date with her head. She dates with her heart.
Well, come on.
Well,
you don't date with your heart.
Here's something that is interesting, and we'll get more into it. But like, it's that idea of like what we think. People who assimilate to a culture, people who immigrate and trying to assimilate, people who, when black people were given, you know, freedom, if you want to call it that, and they were given equal rights, if you want to call it that, whatever, like they were trying to build cities and towns in the same model of this white paradigm, their white slave master colonizer paradigm to a degree. And a lot of the clothing and the garb and the ways of showing status were based on this white man's expectation and what they deemed valuable, not necessarily what your culture told you. And so it's interesting to see that and think about that. And that's one thing, like when Kanye was talking, he's like, I'm not trying to be controlled by those expectations of how a black man is supposed to think about these things or respond to those things, which we'll talk about more later on. But I find it like the next layer of things to think about when we talk about people and we talk about communities and societies and like with the directions they go. It's like, what are we deriving what these images are of and from? Like, what do we value? Why do we value it? And where's the background to that, or the history of that? Because if you're doing the exact same thing somebody else did, if all you do is drop the chains and pick up the same lifestyle of your oppressors, are you any better than your oppressors? I don't know. It's interesting. Anyways,
I mean, but you know, nobody has like an original thought. You feel me? Like, so like you can't aspire to be something you've never seen before.
Kanye has original thought.
What do you mean you can't aspire to be something you've never seen?
You can't be inspired to something you've never seen. The fact that
there has to be a first person to do something, right? Everything.
There's original thought. There is.
I'm saying there's no thing that happens that you haven't seen. That you can't say, oh, I really want to do this thing. It could be something in a particular field, like, oh, I want to do this.
If that's the case,
I want to be the first black doctor.
You wouldn't have a phone.
But then your model of being the first black doctor is being there was a doctor before that, right? And so the first
but who was the first doctor?
The first person.
What about the first touch phone?
No original thought.
That's the original thought, the touch phone.
No, it's not, man.
Your phone was original thought. There was no touch screen anything before your boy Steve Jobs came up with this great idea that he said, let me get the best engineers because he don't know shit about engineering. So that's so it's original thought, right?
No, but that's
Yo-Yo Ma, when he creates some of his greatest shit, that's an original thought.
There's no original, but he's still confined by music, and number one, Steve Jobs.
It's still original.
All the thing about touchscreens, all that shit was written about books years before that. So his thoughts come from somebody else. We all build on other.
You're talking about some book. So you're talking about some book that came out in the 70s. it was an idea, but it's still
right. It's still that's not.
So what you're saying is
but when that idea matches the practicality of actually being able to do that, okay, cool. He pushed forward and he did something.
I'll break it down even further.
See, you're looking too big of a picture.
I'll break it down even further. No, I'll make it even bigger. All we are is potential expressions of our environments. Of the cosmos. See, now, so
like this,
we are nothing more than the potential of
that's
that.
fucking up my football Sunday. Keep going.
So, there is no original thought because nothing is the origins of what already exists.
All I want to do is wake up, play Call of Duty, watch some football, talk a little crap, and do this show. And now you're gonna come out with this shit, Brandon, because you're gonna come out with some original thought shit.
Doom sucks like a vacuum. Smells like a raccoon or a baboon.
You guys need to smoke some weed. And
that's why.
I'm telling you, you both need to smoke some weed and fuck more bitches. When Rosebud said, "My name is Rosebud with 2 D's for double doses pimping," that was the original thought.
Man, that's probably some homeless dude in the 60s.
That was the Rosebud with 2 D's for double doses pimping.
Anyway, man.
I think what Brandon's saying, there's no original individual thought, but there is unique combinations.
Well, that's Brandon's way of saying everybody can do anything.
But that's why I broke it down.
Brandon's trying to live in a rose-colored world with rose-colored glasses. That's why he walked around with the Make America's Great baseball version hat.
Well, you're talking about her being a feminist. Like, her idea of being a feminist is based on...
and she is. I'm not saying she's not.
It's like being based on what patriarchy is. So, like, when she says, I'm going to be a feminist, might mean
she is.
I'm going to be able to do
strange.
what men do. But that's not necessarily...
That's not being feminist.
That's not like that's a revolutionary idea.
Men do is masculism.
But that's not necessarily a revolutionary idea in the sense of equal rights, right? Like, I want to be able to do the same thing as this other person, rather than like, hey, there should be no rules on anybody. Well, it's two different things.
Well, that is true. So, like, if you're doing the same thing if you're picking up the same traits of the thing that you were resisting against, then that's my main thing. It's like, where do we draw the line of?
It's also not
because we get mad at people for selling out, but it's like the same thing. Like where I say I'm gonna try not to get mad at Kanye about taking advantage of the same privileges that a white person uses on a regular basis.
Come on, man. That's you trying to give him a nod for doing something. No. He ain't taking advantage of privilege. He ain't smart enough to take advantage of privilege. No, he's not. He's just a fucking selfish.
This nigga sat down in front of the president and shut the president up for 20 whole minutes. No. And he was like, I like him a lot. I like the...
He didn't shut him up. The president let him talk, and you know why he let him talk. He fed into it. That's why T.I. mad. It wasn't that he did something great because he shut the president. The president let him talk because he's like, dude, this dude is great. I got all the people go see, all the black voters, the young black people go see, I'm with Kanye, and he's down with me. That's why he shut up. Kanye did nothing well in that.
No, so the young white voters who listen to Kanye and buy his music and make Kanye
There's
rich.
Both. And the president, I'm telling you what the president's thinking. That had nothing to do with Kanye, with Kanye doing something that white people would do. No. In fact, he fucked it all up. They're supposed to be talking about prison reform, but his ass fucked that up. Just like he does everything. Almost everything he touched, he fucked up.
First of all, I'm going to say...
He touched his mom, and he fucked that up.
My expectations of what the prison reform talk between Kanye West and Donald Trump is very low.
They had a whole bunch of other people who know something about prison reform there. He invited Kanye there because he know this guy's going to come in wearing this hat. This is going to be another picture-perfect moment for me and the black people who are on the fence. Or this and that. That's what I need. I'm inviting. He's on the invite list. Did they put Chuck D on the invite list? Fuck no. They put Kanye West on the invite list. And what does he do? Show up wearing a Make America Great hat. So Jerry, don't try to give him no points for this. There's no points in anything he did. None.
I can break down some more. You want me to break it down now?
No, let's break down this basketball season.
Alright, let's break it down. We'll get back to Kanye later then.
First of all, let's have some more non-original thoughts. We know the Warriors are going to be in the finals. The Celtics going to be in the finals. Possible. If Kyrie doesn't blow out his knee.
No. If Kyrie blows out the knee, they're in the finals. Kyrie gets hurt like he always does because they call him Mr. Glass. The Celtics make the finals if Kyrie gets hurt because they're a better team without him. Everyone else plays better without him dominating the ball. Carmelo Anthony the ball. They play better without him. He has yet to make the playoffs without LeBron James, so I still need that to happen. And so I'm saying if he misses 25 games, they make the playoffs. If he misses most of the playoffs, they make the finals. Now the question is, if the Warriors can make it through injury, if they can make it through injuries, no one get hurt, nothing happens, Steph Curry don't get caught cheating on his wife because he's using professional women, something like that, then I say the Warriors win it all. If Warriors get hurt, then the second best team in the West will probably win it all, which would be the Lakers.
I think
you said the Lakers are the second.
The Lakers are the second best team in the Western Conference.
I think the Lakers,
any team LeBron on is the second best team in the league. All right, no matter what happens in the regular season, any team. You're trying to tell me the Cavs weren't the second best team in the league?
Now LeBron wearing the shorts. No, they're not.
They might have been. They might. Well, I think he would have beaten the Rockets, but the Rockets.
He would have beat the Rockets.
But the Rockets still played more of a team dynamic.
The Rockets couldn't beat the Warriors, and they had a lead.
I know. Well, they should. Here's the thing. I will throw an asterisk on the Warriors' last title. I'll throw an asterisk on every Warriors title.
Not the first one. The first one has no asterisks.
First one,
Warriors
yeah.
won that one.
No, Kyrie broke his kneecap that one.
It don't matter. They won that one.
But I'm just saying, like, they always had the path was created to where something.
Well, we can go down the line.
Biggest hurdle.
Because remember the Clippers was one of their biggest opponents that year, and what happened? They lost Blake Griffin and Chris Paul. Yeah. I mean, yeah, but that's the one. If there's one year to me that you don't throw an asterisk,
well,
but they still get
they had to stay healthy. They had to play. They weren't proven at that point.
Yeah,
everyone since then has had.
But even that year, everyone was hurt. We talking about since then. That year, every round they faced, everybody was hurt.
Yeah, they've always faced somebody injured. Kyrie was hurt. Kawhi was hurt a year.
But I would give them that one.
I guess, that's fair. I give them the first
crazy
one.
Was the second year when nobody was hurt, LeBron won the title.
Well, that's why you play the games on the schedule. I don't care. It's hurt.
They should have beat LeBron that one, but
they set up the arena, man. We're not gonna wait for Kyrie. Hey, you can't play. You're out. You won the game.
I agree. They won. So, but the Lakers, any team LeBron on is the second best team in the league.
No, you got
guaranteed. Guaranteed. The Lakers. The Lakers are gonna finish 4th or 5th place. And if they're not in the same bracket with the Warriors, if they're not in the same bracket side with the Warriors in the playoffs, they go to Western Conference Finals.
Yeah,
guaranteed.
But you're talking about his surrounding cast, right? You got Rondo, you got McGee, you got Stevenson, you got Michael Beasley.
But those guys aren't those aren't starters.
You got Brandon Ingram.
The only one starting is Rondo, I think. But the rest of those aren't. They're not starters.
And you're talking about
Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma.
Rajon Rondo has not been good.
I'm not expecting him to be good
in the last 7.
You know who I'm expecting to be good? This is going to be good. Kyle Kuzma's going to be good, right? Brandon Ingram's going to be good. He averaged 16 points last year. With LeBron, he's only going to get better. These guys, Jason Hart's going to be good.
No, but here's the thing, though. Like, everybody LeBron's played with talks about how hard it is to play with LeBron, how they have to adjust their game to play with LeBron because he always
but think about who those guys are. Those aren't like shitty guys that say that. Those aren't guys those are usually your veterans who are used to who are high draft picks. What always happens in the NBA to high draft picks? They come into a sorry ass team and they get the red carpet rolled out. They're allowed to shoot this many times this one. So then when after their career starts not even winding down, when they get to like the pinnacle of it and people realize they're only good because they're on a shitty team. And then they come to Cleveland and they're like, man, it's hard. I got to adjust my game with LeBron. Guess what? Your game was sorry ass game before that. You should be adjusting to LeBron.
But here's the thing, though. But you might be asking them to do things that they are not good at doing. The reason why you think they're going to be good this year,
they're going to be good.
And if the way LeBron wants them to play,
I'll make you a bet after you guys finally pay the other day.
No. After you decide on what you're going to bet.
No.
Y'all niggas bet, nigga.
No. I want my other money first.
I want to see these niggas bet, nigga.
I want my other money first.
First of all, Aaron is still.
Just drop me $50 here. Just drop $50 right here. And
man. We said we're gonna buy you.
We're buying. I'll put it on my credit card. I don't give a hell.
Then let's do it then.
No.
Oh, okay. I got a video round up. I need some preview to make sure it ain't pixelated.
To all our fans out there who heard. Thank y'all. I even had a couple of our fans hit me up on the Twitter and be like, man, we agree with you, bro. You was right. Aaron said one video from my vids. Many vids.
Let's bring your mom credit card. We'll order it right away. I'll bring the code.
No, man. We thought right away.
He said order the codes or the hose?
No, you guys said the code. You guys, I can't believe. Look, I did my part of it.
No, you didn't.
I did my part of the bet. Did I not do my part of the bet?
The part of the bet.
Did I not do my part of the bet? Answer that question. Did I do my part of the bet?
You didn't pick a video yet.
But I do my part of the bet. I went all that time.
I'm not.
And now you guys are.
I just said
you won the lottery ticket. And now you're getting your affairs in order for the last year.
Going back, y'all should bet. But going back to what Brandon was saying about LeBron, like they might not be able to play the way he needs them to play, is I think it goes back to the thing we've already talked about in like this the new age of basketball. All these players, playing on AAU teams where it's like kind of just up and down, one-on-one. It's not really running sets. It's not running getting guys used to playing more half-court offenses and actually running plays where it's not just like let me just do my one-on-one skills to beat your man, and that's all it is. That's what the majority of what it is. And so a lot of these guys don't know how to play away from the ball. They don't know how to set screens away from the ball very well. They don't know how to run off of screens. They don't know how to catch and shoot. They're not used to that. And you get the specialist guys who can do it, but those guys are the ones who are treasured. Everyone's just trying to get the best athlete who has the best ball handle that can get to the hoop and just dominate that way in AAU. When they start getting to the higher levels, it's like, nigga, did you ever practice a three-pointer? Because the game of the NBA is now three-pointers. They're like, nah. It's like, I'm one-on-one. With a great, you want to go one-on-one with a great one?
See, we got to come before we shake on this.
You're defining the second best team as like who
makes it the farthest in the playoffs. So if they're okay, this is the way the bet's gonna go. If they make it and they look like the only team, if they beat the Warriors, then I win the bet, right? If they beat the Warriors, I win the bet. If they're in a different bracket from the Warriors and they make it all the way to the Western Conference Finals, I win the bet. Anything else, I lose.
That's too much nuance. Hey, just say the Lakers are going to finish.
No, because they're not going to finish record-wise the second best team in the West. They're not.
No, how about the bet be this? They're going to finish in the top half. They're going to finish in the top half of the West, and they're going to face the Cowboys in the playoffs. Not the Cowboys.
Goddamn. This motherfucker can't even focus. He's trying to act like he focused. He's sitting here watching the Cowboys. Was that Conor McGregor?
Yes.
Conor McGregor?
Dude,
he was off the first fall? Is that why they're all walking like that? Because Conor McGregor was at the Cowboy game? Oh, man. So we're not supposed to talk about what's on the screen. But apparently, Conor McGregor wearing a Cowboy color jacket.
The Johnny Walker Blue, he stole Jerry Jones' jacket. I don't think he knows how to throw a football.
Laces out. Laces out.
He threw a footbll like Joakim Noah be playing basketball.
How do you feel about that, man? One of your hot button, fuck that dude, guys with your team right now. I mean, he's on the sideline.
Dude, yeah, you talking about the owner, Jerry Jones? Yeah, but it's the transition of when he turns now. Like, because you can infer
turning in, but his hands already out of bounds.
That he had but you could infer that he had possession of it because it didn't wobble.
Jared, man, that's
physics, man. Why are we talking about what's on the TV, bro?
Because it's all
Conor McGregor. He just saw
right. The power of Conor McGregor, man. Hey, shout out to Conor McGregor sponsorship, man. You just changed the whole dynamic. We were working on this whole podcast. You are so good at.
We can't even talk about our bet no more. We got to come out with it later on. You told me the Lakers are better than Cowboys. I'll take that bet, Brandon. If the Lakers have a better record than the Cowboys, then I'll win.
Wait, is it win percentage right? Win percentage, yeah, win percentage.
I still take that bet. Jared's in on it with you because he said Cowboys, so he's in on it with me.
Yeah, no. Honestly, I think the Lakers are going to be probably a 3 or 4 seed. I can see them struggling anywhere between 3 and 5. They could potentially win the second seed. But
they can't because the Warriors are in the same division, so they can't be the second seed.
No, but it's Houston. It's like whether or not the Warriors decide to like really push for the number 1 seed again or not.
Warriors are gonna have a better record than them regardless.
Yeah. But I think it's gonna come down to how those players develop, and I think those guys develop.
And the thing is, they're young.
Jump shot. They got to develop a spot-up jump shot,
which they can. Look at their percentage. Look at Brandon Ingram's and Kyle Kuzma's 3-point percentage. Jason Harden.
I think Kuzma is the one who's going to benefit the most.
But they both had a huge shooting
New
percentage.
Orleans by the end of the season.
No, you're right. They're going to be in New Orleans. They're going to be in New Orleans partying because they're going to go through Anthony Davis in New Orleans, probably in the first round. Anthony Davis probably going to be sitting on the sideline hurt. They're going to go through that team.
Well, I don't think they can beat Utah right now. I really don't.
Well, that's the glorious season. Season starts in 2 days. Fantasy draft is tonight.
Let me tell you this.
Woo!
Utah is too much hype.
Woo!
Utah is the Western version. Let me say this. Utah is the Western version.
It's Ricky Rubio here right now.
Nah, I'm with
Ricky Rubio is fucking weak, dude. Don't ever get me started on Ricky Rubio, okay? He's on my list. He's garbage. I hate him almost as much as I hate Blake Jarwin, okay? But what I will say is they are the Western Mountain Range. Utah Jazz are the Western version of what the Boston Celtics were. The Boston Celtics set precedent of what can be achieved by overachieving. Okay? And they will always be somebody that I refer to. We talk about the A's being a version of that this year. I'll tell you, the Utah Jazz were a version of the Isaiah Thomas 2016 or 2017 Boston Celtics. Okay? The Jazz overachieved. They have a defensive team with limited perimeter players. They discovered that your boy Spider, what is his name? Spider who? Spider Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell, yeah, he's tight.
Yeah, Spider Mitchell. He's pretty dope, but he's also very similar to somebody that I really like. Those on the Warriors, Monte Ellis has more range than Monte Ellis, but is quick, crazy ball handler, undersized.
He gets more assists than Monte Ellis too. He's a little bit.
That's fine. He's an undersized 2 guard
that
has to play point guard, and he's probably a better facilitator than Monte Ellis because he actually went to college for a few years. You know what I'm saying? Monte Ellis came in and had to learn everything straight out of high school.
Monte Ellis was also kind of ignorant too, you know.
Ain't you State of Alabama, right?
No, it's from Mississippi.
Oh, Mississippi. Same
No,
difference.
it's not the same difference.
Same difference, right?
We talk about difference between at least 40 IQ points. That's what we talking about.
You know, Monte Ellis was actually a really good tennis player, but basketball, he needed to make more money. Anyways.
Oh, he's a little smarter. Maybe he is from Alabama.
Tennis player. He played basketball better than Joakim Noah. You can't win with your best player being an undersized guard. You might as well have C.J. McCollum or Damian Lillard then. Just swap them out. And then you have some guys, bigs, that are athletic and play good D and make it hard on the other team defensively, so you make it a grinded out type of defensive game. But their offense is limited enough to where, like, they can figure out how to slow those guys down. They don't dominate points wise. They don't dominate scoring wise. They just play good D.
That's why you gotta play defense, man.
No, but that's what Boston did. But they didn't have anybody who could, like. It's not going anywhere when you play against a team of stars, especially perimeter stars, or like LeBron James or fools who take what you do well, but they can physically do it just as well and have build up their skill.
But you're only talking about four or five teams that do that, right? There's only 4 or 5 teams above them, right? So when Kyrie breaks his knee, or if LeBron sprains an ankle, like LeBron's never been hurt.
Some people just don't get hurt. You know
he's one of the luckiest.
You know that.
He's one of the most fortunate. I'm not going to say he's lucky. He's been one of the most fortunate.
But you know, there's cases there are certain people that are just built in this world that never get hurt.
Yeah.
They never get hurt until like the very last day of their career.
Well, you know what might be crazy is that LeBron might
Magic really never got hurt. There's some like superstars. That's also what makes them superstars. They got the best ability, and it's called availability. They never get hurt.
Well, the other thing
Michael Jordan sprained an ankle really bad his second year in the league. Never got hurt after that.
He broke his leg. Didn't he break his ankle?
Like break his ankle, and then never got hurt after that.
But my thing is like never. You got to look at like I think there's some guys
who are just built differently. LeBron is probably the most athletic person ever walked this earth.
I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that. I'm just saying is that there's some interesting dynamics of how what your physical capability is and what your mind can then like plan out and see and react to in a way that doesn't put.
But you have to see it first because
you have to be able to see it and but that takes great.
Thought.
There is no actually. Never mind. So I don't know how they would do it, Brandon.
First of all, we're talking about physics now. Like your body get hurt is a physics thing.
I just thought something. I'm like, I don't think LeBron James ever, or very rarely does LeBron James really play at 100%. I think he's hovering between 90 and 95%. And sometimes way lower than that. There's games where you can tell he's kind of like just like
tired. Yeah,
he's tired. He's not doing as much as he could. He's probably playing at like 75-80%, but that's better than still like 98.99% of the people. You know what I'm saying? Other than like another 1%, probably better than basically everybody else still. Yeah. But he's playing where he only has to play 90% because he's so physically gifted, but he also mentally can anticipate and knows things that he doesn't ever have to overexert and extend himself to things other than just what he like running up and down and like sometimes speeding up more and speeding and slowing down. But because he's so gifted, I always had a hard time not playing 100%. I like getting up to that point where I'm like going at 100%, and then that's why I usually get hurt. If you're LeBron James and you don't ever have to play 100%,
and you're still better than
you're everybody. You're better than everybody. You're in such good control that you're gonna avoid getting hurt. Your chance of getting hurt reduced that much more. Versus guys who go 100%, like the dudes who get their knees blown out or they're playing, it's because they're like, oh, I'm gonna try and make this move and I need to like go. Let's do this, and then pop goes down. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened. LeBron's just like, man, I'm just going at 90% and I'm beating your ass. I'm not gonna get hurt because I'm not putting myself in that extra 10% of chances where my body gets put in an awkward position, or I have to, overextend myself to try and make this play, which, makes a certain part of my body vulnerable when I land or when I get bumped into,
I get you, man. But I'm just
That's
saying.
physics, man.
When we're talking about the Utah Jazz, I'm talking about them staying the fourth or fifth time.
We'll see.
Fourth or fifth place. One team gets an injury, and guess what? They're number 3 now.
And they gonna lose in the first round.
They're better than.
They're not better than Lakers.
They're in the top 4th of the league right now. The top 4.
Who?
Yeah, Utah Jazz.
Top 4 teams in the league.
No, top 4.
No, you got
top 4th.
The top quarter. See, this is where you guys are confused about whether or not Alex Smith was a top 17 quarterback or a top 8 quarterback. Y'all get confused with your quarters and eighths and 17ths and halves and.
Alex Smith is a dominant quarterback.
Yeah, whatever.